Today we're going to be kicking off the BMW Z3 project by replacing the suspension with these new coilovers from Flashark. And since we have the BMW already lifted and ready to go, we are going to go ahead and replace the brake pads just for safety. Oh, well there we go. Now this is a cap that I'm going to just push out, just like that. And now that gives us access to the bolts. We're going to be pulling off the caliper now that we've removed those two bolts. Now I'm going to go ahead and use this tool right here to hang this because we don't want to put any pressure on that brake line. I just want that clean when I put on the new brake pads, that's all. Yay! I am currently working on pulling these wires that are sat nicely into the front suspension. There we go. Yeah. Whew. And now with that actually loose, that gives me the ability to move this caliper over here and hang it from something a bit more practical. Ta-da! And there's no pressure on that right now. Now that all of this has been taken off, I do think we should be good to remove the suspension. So we just broke loose this middle bolt right here. Now the way that we did it is we had an 18mm socket on two different breaker bars, one to hold, the other one to kind of break it loose. I also used some penetrating oil and let it sit on there. And now that it's loose, I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. There's that. The washer and the bolt. We have now finished removing all of the bolts that were underneath. They did have Loctite on them, so it definitely took a impact gun. That was really the only way we were able to do it. Now, mind you, we could break it loose using a breaker bar, but it's probably gonna take us 2 to 3 times as long as it did without the impact gun. I'm using a ratcheting breaker bar with a 13mm, and let me tell you, this thing is my new favorite tool. I just think that there's so much buildup. But I'm gonna have to try to like pry it off of here. The way that you can tell which one is the right side is you can look at the actual bracket right here. You see that this is on the left side. This bracket right here is on the left side as well. That's how you can tell which one is driver's side and which one is passenger side.
And when installing the front suspension, make sure the camber adjustment slots point toward the engine.
Devin is gonna go ahead and lift the actual shock up into place. And then as we get the holes aligned, I'm gonna go ahead and just hand tighten the nuts to hold it in place. Let's kind of try to lift it up and see if that can give me just a different angle. So now that everything is in here, we can make adjustments as needed, and it's actually pretty simple. What you do is you're going to go ahead and loosen this bottom collar down here just to give yourself some space. I'm giving myself quite a bit of space just in case. And if I decided I wanted to lower my vehicle, I'm going to take the tool that they give me, and I would grab the top ring and turn it to the left to lower. Now, if I wanted to raise it, maybe I lowered it too far or it's slammed and I don't like it, then I can come back in and I can use the same tool, go to the bottom ring and turn it to the right. Now, what this does is it actually moves the whole body into this tube. I'm pretty sure we have it basically as low as it can go, which is gonna be way too low. So I'm going to be taking the tool to the bottom ring and going to the right in order to go ahead and turn the body back up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and lock it. So I'm gonna use a screwdriver and just a mallet just to make sure it is extra secured. You just wanna make sure the top two collars are snug against each other. I want to see the exact space between here. So when we go to the other side, we make sure they're the same adjustment. 41.35. We're now on the rear suspension. It does have a spring that is separated from the actual shock. So those are gonna be two different things that we're gonna have to remove. I'm gonna take my bottle jack that I have right here and I'm gonna place it underneath this just to give it some support. We're gonna be removing two 13mm bolts from the strut that's actually in the back right here. Now, normally there is carpet back here held in by like these Christmas tree pins like this. There was 4 of them. I already did the other side, so that's why the carpet is removed. You don't want to lean on any of these pieces because the cracks have gotten a lot worse, and that side over there actually broke by us working on that side. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to be aware of, unfortunately, and I don't know how to fix that because 90s plastic, it's just crap. Now this piece is literally just held in by some tension, so you should just be able to pull it off. Now I'm gonna remove the two 13mm nuts on the top. And now we can go back to underneath the car. Once you take this out, that strut is gonna fall right out. So while I finish backing it out, I am gonna hold on to the strut. Okay. I just went ahead and dropped the bottle jack a little bit, just providing support just in case, but I actually need it lower so that way I can go ahead and pry this spring out. So we do have our new spring here. I've seen this installed a few different ways where some people will install it with the adjustment part down at the bottom, like that. But for us, we're actually gonna go ahead and put it at the top just because it's a lot easier to adjust as needed. If you have any suggestions down the bottom for any viewers on which one is better or which one you prefer, go ahead and drop that down in the comment section. But this is the way we're gonna be installing it today. So the one with the point like this on my model of Z3 goes up at the top, and the other collar without a point goes down at the bottom. We're gonna go ahead and take the spring and you're gonna see something right away. You're gonna see that it's gonna look loose. That's okay. Place that bottle jack in the same place we did earlier. You can see the spring starting to kind of go into the right place. If I were to wiggle it, it doesn't move. So I'm gonna go onto the lower collar on this one. It's going to bring this body up, which is gonna lift the car up more. So I'm taking that top collar and I'm actually bringing it down to meet with the other collar. And we're gonna make sure that's tight. Devin's gonna go inside of the Z3, and when I push it up into the holes, he's actually gonna go ahead and just hand tighten these nuts for me just to hold it in place. Just lift that guy a little bit, and I think that's gonna be it right there. So now that we have this lined up and it's lined up really nicely, I'm gonna go ahead and use this impact gun with an 18mm socket on it. Now that we have these front struts installed, we're gonna be installing front strut tower brace. This was actually not made for the Z3. However, we're gonna give it a try and see. And this is something that's not necessarily needed for good suspension. However, it is supposed to help with the rigidity of the chassis. So thanks to Max Speeding Rods for sending it over. I have this strut supported with my nice bottle jack. Removing the nuts. Now this brace should just sit right on top. Maybe. I'm curious if it's this one instead. Bet you it is. No. Does it go like that? Because that makes no sense. So we were originally struggling to get this bracket onto this side because the fact that we have this knob right here. Now, one of the brackets does actually have a cutout for the knob, but that's actually on the other side, which is interesting. But this piece was not originally made for just the Z3. So we made it work the best we could. We took a rotary tool, we took a notch out, and now we're going to see if it fits, and we're going to continue our installation. There we go. Perfect fit right around that notch. And now we would be able to tighten everything up correctly. So we're going to go ahead and put the bolts through the bracket. Now this washer right here actually has two sides. You can see one that has like teeth, the other side that's flat. So you do want the side with the teeth to be going towards the bracket. So that way it has something to grip onto. It fit. So I think we're good. We're gonna go ahead and replace our brake pads. Where I'm going to actually grease this pad is going to be just on the ears right here. Now I'm going to be doing the ears of both brake pads, the front and the back part. So you can see right here that the piston is sticking out. We want that to be flat because that's what's going to allow us to put the whole caliper back on easily once we have the new brake pads on. So I am going to be using this brake spreader right here. It is a ratcheting one, which is a lot easier to use. There we go. So now you can see the piston is flat. So we're now ready to go ahead and work on the brake pads. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the brake pad with the actual piston, making sure the prongs go in. Lined up just like that. Now, obviously be careful. You don't want to leave it there because it will swing out. But now when you go line it up, you can see it like fell right into place with your new brake pads. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reinstalling those 7mm hex key bolts right here, putting the caps on, and then I will put the clip in the front. Now we're moving on to replacing the rear brakes. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this side does actually have a sensor on the brake pad in the back. So as we take it off, we do want to be careful because you can see the line right here and it actually attaches to the brake pad. So I'll be taking that off once I remove the caliper. Let's see how bad this side is. Oh, okay. So I do have a brake light on this BMW, so I bet you right now it's because of the rear brakes. I'm gonna grab a pair of pliers. So there's that sensor right there. This right here is just a pin that holds that line in there. It will come up. There we go. So now that I've released it, I can just kind of move that line out of the way so I don't have to worry about accidentally damaging it. So I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Erica, you have those nice brake spreaders. Why aren't you using that? The reason we're not using that is because this piston is so pushed out. Oh, let's see. Bam! There we go. Now, one thing to keep in mind, I am working on the back brake first, so I am going to have to replace that sensor. Oh, this one's tight. Yes. And then that brake pad is all done. We have to go through, we have to torque everything, make sure everything is up to spec. Now, one thing to keep in mind is in the back, it is recommended that your car is under load when you go to torque it. So what we did is we actually used our bottle jack and we raised it up until it was off the jack stand. So it kind of shows that it's under load. And now what we're going to be doing from here is we are going to be torquing that bolt to 74 pound-feet. And then we'll put the wheels on and see what this looks like.
So here's the thing about these coilovers. They're E36 compatible, not Z3 specific. The rear springs are designed for the heavier E36 four-door, which means they sit way too high on the lighter Z3. We ended up removing the adjustment collars on the rear to get it lower. What you're seeing here is the final result after we made that change. Stick around for the outro and you'll see how much higher it was sitting in the rear before we fixed it.
So we've just finished installing the suspension, putting back on the tires, getting everything up to spec, and we took it for the first test drive. And I have to tell you guys, I didn't think there was anything that I could do to this car to make me like it. And I mean that because before I liked it, but it wasn't what I actually wished it was. The test drive made me like it a lot more. It drives so smooth. It's nice. And when you go over speed bumps, it doesn't rub, which is always a huge concern of mine. I never want my cars to rub. And not just that, we would hear random like clankings and things like that while we were driving, which was always a concern to us, but we never knew how to fix it. Now that we've actually replaced all of the shocks, there's no clanks. The next project that we're working on is going to be replacing this old convertible top. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we're going to catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.